Hi, my name's Karen Davies, and this is the Karen Davies Podcast. Episode 20. On August 21st, 2021, 2 years ago, at the age of 40, I stopped drinking. I didn't put a time limit on it like I had done in the past. I literally just said to myself, let's see what's possible. And see, we did. Now, full disclosure. In the entire 2 years, I've had 3 glasses of wine on 3 separate occasions. But those glasses of wine neither added to nor took away from each occasion. So I asked myself, what's the point? If those drinks didn't add anything to the occasion, then why bother? So I didn't. I kept on choosing not to drink at all. So what have I learned? Did I lose loads of weight and feel amazing? Sort of. You see, in all honesty, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. The not drinking has been great, and I don't plan to resume drinking again anytime soon. Like I said, I don't have an end date, but nothing is a silo. And the reason I say it's been a bit of a roller coaster is that I've been experiencing perimenopause too, which honestly really sucks. With the not drinking, I found myself eating a lot more sugar. And I do mean a lot. I would eat 2 or 3 bars of chocolate a day. I'd eat cakes and anything with sugar. They say when you quit alcohol, your body misses the sugar. Most alcoholic drinks are packed with sugar. So my body went overboard to correct that absence. I did lose and regain the same 5 kilograms for about the past 2 years, and it wasn't through any magical diet. It was through consciously not eating sugar. But this is where the perimenopause comes in. And regardless of your gender, everyone needs to hear this because it will either affect you or someone that you care about or love. Perimenopause messes with your hormones big time. For me, the symptoms include memory loss, brain fog, sugar cravings, overeating, mood swings, rage, the list goes on. And perimenopause lasts years. For me, it's been, at a guess, more than 4 years now, but I've only been conscious of it for around 12 months. And once I realised that I wasn't going crazy and that it might be perimenopause, then I got myself to a specialist doctor and I got straight onto hormone replacement therapy, HRT. It's taken about 8 months to get my HRT sort of right. It's still not perfect, but now I have so much more energy. My moods are less, my cravings are less, and my memory is almost back to normal most of the time. So, perimenopause aside, what has not drinking done for me? Well, upon occasion, it's made me very smug. Sorry, I can't help it. It's true. When I see people hungover, looking like death, unable to eat or even move and wasting their day in bed, then I think, thank goodness that's not me. It saved me brain space as well. I now don't have the eternal question of, will I or won't I drink tonight? If I drink, how will I get home? Should I moderate? I drank last time, so it's my turn to drive. All of that. It's not even a question anymore. And I love the fact that I don't have to think about it. I genuinely didn't realise how much energy and effort went into thinking about it until I stopped. If I'm trying to track calories, then it's so much easier if I don't have to track booze. And also the alcohol-free beers I sometimes drink are 16 calories a bottle. Amazing. I love that my memory is great and I can recall all the conversations and happenings from a night out. It's funny because I was reminded of this recently when I went on a group holiday with 20 other friends to celebrate a friend's 40th birthday. We spent the day in a beach club and the birthday girl and her partner had kindly put a couple of grand behind the bar. So the drinks were flowing all day. I had a fantastic time. I swam in the pool, I jumped off the high dive diving board, I danced to awesome music, I ate great food and drank some waters and some soft drinks. What was interesting for me was the next day. There were huge parts of the night that many of the group had forgotten. Nothing bad, but innocuous things like, oh, did you help me put my bag in the locker? I'd forgotten about that. Or I don't remember dancing to that song. You know, the effect that alcohol has on the mind is fascinating to me. One friend even commented that I'd chosen the wrong time to give up drinking. By this point, I'd been alcohol-free for 1 year, 11 months and 3 weeks. I pointed out that yes, the last 2 years had been a terrible time to give up drinking, but c'est la vie. I did have a chuckle at that comment. Not drinking has made it so much easier to fill out medical forms. Instead of me sitting there counting on both hands how many drinks I had in a week and then reducing that figure to an acceptable number for the form that I was filling out, I can just go ahead and put 0. Easy. But it's not all smugness and rainbows. I found that I ventured into drinking sugary mocktails and drinks a lot more, which is terrible for my teeth and my skin. Prior to this alcohol-free adventure, I had not drank a soft drink in 9 years. And now here I was slugging back Cokes to get my sugary fix. I've managed to wean myself off them again now, but it did take a good 9 months and a couple of dentist visits before I did. Also, occasionally, I find myself being pestered by drunk people wanting to know why I don't just have one, as though my decision not to drink is affecting them, and it would be made all the more easier if I just got involved with the shenanigans of drinking. But ultimately, I genuinely don't miss drinking. That doesn't mean I won't be doing it again at some point. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But I find that the limitless, dateless approach that I have is certainly helping me to enjoy it. There's no pressure. Right now, I'm drinking as much as I want, which is 0. Prior to this 2-year hiatus, I'd taken the odd week and month off here and there, but I found myself always eager to get back to the finish line so that I could celebrate with a drink. Oh, the irony. But seriously, one of the best things to come out of this is an impressive self-belief. You see, I've always been a confident person, as my friends and family, they will certainly tell you. And on some level, I knew I could achieve anything that I put my mind to, but I'd always thought that giving up drinking for more than a month was too hard, so to speak. On the lead up to my sobriety, there was always an event, a birthday, a wedding, a party, a whatever, that I was adamant I had to drink for, as I thought I would miss out if I wasn't drinking. Again, the irony. As it turns out, giving up drinking made me enjoy these events even more. Imagine this. Being able to drive yourself to an event, have a dance, have some great conversations, and then drive yourself and your mates home whenever you want. No waiting around for a bus or a train, no paying for an expensive taxi. I can simply just leave. And then the next day, I get to spring out of bed. My car is in my driveway. I feel fantastic and I can remember everything that happened. I don't have makeup smeared all over my face and pillow as I showered the night before I got into bed. And I make myself a cup of tea and journal about my awesome night. I promise you, I don't miss anything about drinking. Actually, that's not entirely true. Sometimes I think to myself, maybe I'd just like one margarita. But then I realise that's not true. What I want is to be the best version of myself. Since proving to myself that I can go literally years without getting drunk, it's opened up a world of possibilities. This was something that I thought only recovering alcoholics could do, that you had to hit rock bottom and go to rehab before you gave up drinking. But it turns out that I was wrong. I didn't need a rock bottom. I didn't need an intervention. I didn't even need to have any sort of problem with alcohol. All I really needed to do was ask myself, what is possible? And let me tell you, that is an unbelievable question. It's a limitless question. It literally opens up a whole world of possibilities. In my coaching, I share with my clients that your life is only as good as the questions you ask yourself. And the better the questions, then the better your life. Layla Hormozi, one of my favourite CEOs and entrepreneurs, mentioned this on her own podcast recently. Layla's the CEO of Acquisition.com and co-founder of Gym Launch. Layla became a multi-millionaire in her 20s and now is intent on building a $1 billion business in her 30s. In short, she's amazing. I was listening to Layla's podcast and she spoke about her process for making $100 million decisions. And during that process, she asks herself 2 questions. They're essentially the same question, but one is framed in the negative and one is framed in the positive. The question is this: if I make this decision or one of this nature every day for the rest of my life, then what would my life and my business look like? I found this to be an amazing question. Instead of asking, is this the right decision, which is a very limited and closed question that you can only answer yes or no to, and it has no context, Layla asks an open-ended question. So for me, first, let's phrase the question in a negative way. If I decide to drink alcohol every day for the rest of my life, then what would my life and my business look like? Well, I think it would either be pretty mediocre or non-existent. I think I'd be miserable. I think I'd be unhealthy and overweight. I think I'd be lethargic. I think that the quality of my life and relationships would diminish. I think my business would fail to exist. Now, let's try rephrasing the question in a positive way. If I decide not to drink any alcohol every day for the rest of my life, then what would my life and my business look like? Well, I'd be more focused. I'd have more time in my day to do what I want to do. I'd be more in control of my health, my life, my business. I would feel proud. I would have evidence that I can stick to my decisions and do something unusual and positive for a long period of time. The list just goes on and on. When people give up drinking, they talk about the lack of hangovers and about losing weight. But in reality, there's so much more to it than that. Giving up drinking for me is evidence that I can do really hard things, really abnormal things. I can set my mind to something and I can achieve it for days, weeks, months, even years. I'm able to change my mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. So if I can give up alcohol for years on end, then what else is possible for me? I'm not unique. In fact, I'm pretty average. I'm in my 40s, I'm perimenopausal, and I come from a working class family. I eat a varied diet, I have a formal education, I have a roof over my head, and I have food in my belly. I have a diverse group of amazing friends, and I mostly exercise 3 times a week. Although I didn't exercise for 3 years from my late 30s to my early 40s. In short, there is nothing remarkable about me, although I'm sure my mum and dad would disagree. Thanks, mum and dad. But seriously, if I can do this, then anyone can. I want to be clear. I had a few run-ups at this. I took the odd week off booze here and there, and then the odd month off, and then over the course of several years, after consuming lots of Quit Lit and podcasts on alcohol-free life, I took the plunge. I spent a long time studying other people, Successful people, high achievers, multimillionaires, entrepreneurs, and the one trait that they all have in common is this: they never give up. Yes, they may get knocked down a few times. You've heard the saying, knocked down 7 times, stand up 8. Well, that's never been more true than when it comes to people who achieve success in all areas of their life. They don't give up. That doesn't mean they don't have failures. They do. They don't always get it right. They may take a few tries, but they keep going. They keep getting up and they keep getting back on that metaphorical horse. The bottom line, and the number one thing that not drinking has taught me, is that we can all do hard things. We just have to keep getting up when we get knocked down and keep trying again and again. Failure is the gift of tenacity, perseverance, and life lessons. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, come and check out my website, KarenDaviesCoaching.com. There's plenty of resources, tips and downloads, as well as the opportunity to work with me.